Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. So in this video we are going to go through the chain battle or the explosive chain battle that's recently been added to DBZ Dokkan Global for the Super Saiyan Trunks. So for this chain battle you're going to want to make sure that you focus in on using as many Exploding Rage, Pure Saiyan and planetary destruction units as possible. In terms of the explosive chain battle here, obviously these are the units that are recommended, so you're going to want to focus in on the Broly units, and if you're really struggling you can focus in and go for the Android units, but other than that you're definitely going to want to mainly focus in on using Broly units, and you're also going to want to focus in on using Beerus units as the super type support. Now that we are taking a look at the missions, obviously these are the stock standard missions. We've seen them quite a few times for chain battle, but to run over them quickly, it's 100 million in a single attempt. Then we have the 20 attempts, we have the 5 per day, and of course we have the accumulated 1 billion. You can obviously get decent rewards from this, so it's always best to attempt as many times as possible and get as high a score as possible. Then just to focus in on what you need to choose, so on a super side, if you do not have a lot of Beeruses, then I do suggest that you focus in on as many Gokus and Bardoks that you can choose. They mainly have decent linking sets, but they do fulfill the 2 categories, which are planetary destruction, not planetary destruction, which are Exploding Rage and Pure Saiyans, and that will allow you to get as high a score as you can. If you do have Beeruses, I do suggest that you choose Beeruses. They are both fulfilling Exploding Rage and planetary destruction, but they also just link a lot better across the board than the Goku and the Bardock units. And then on the extreme side, you're definitely going to want to focus in on having as many Broly units as possible. If you do not have a large selection of Broly units, then you're definitely going to want to take a look at possibly throwing in some androids, but preferably you're going to have as many Brolys as possible. It's also preferential to focus in on having as many legendary Super Saiyan or original Broly units as possible, because these are going to link a lot better and perform a lot better in a category sense, and also just overall, than the Super Broly. The Super Broly is not on interplanetary destruction, so that is one of the reasons why he's a bit worse off than the original Broly or the legendary Super Saiyan Broly. Now once you've done all of that and once you've set everything up, you can obviously start getting down to business and taking on the chain battle and trying to get as high a score as possible. Just remember when selecting your supporters that obviously you want to make sure that they have the highest stats possible, that their SAs are maxed, because these things do matter, and they do matter for your friends who will pick your supports, so try and help out as much as possible. Also when selecting your supporters, for yourself, you're going to want to make sure that you select as many rainbow units as possible while factoring in their link sets. So what we'll do is we'll do 2 runs. The first 2 runs we'll use a optimal lineup, and then in the last run we will use a free-to-play unit. So here, just in terms of this stage, we're going to use my legendary tech Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan tech Broly. And then we are also going to use a Bardock and Goku based super team, along with a Broly based extreme team. And then in the second one we will switch to a Beerus based team and just see the difference in performance there. Remember to also always keep an eye on the score or the little chain power details there in the top right corner. Because that's going to enable you to have an idea not only on the performance, but also just on a measurement or a metric that you can use to control how well you're performing, or to at least keep an idea on what you need to improve on. So we're going to start the chain battle off obviously you're going to maybe want to slow it down to 1x speed so you get an idea of who's coming in to help you, and just to go through the units one more time and give yourself more time to choose. You're then going to want to, as quickly as possible, select as the best linking units you can. That's usually going to be either the Broly's on the extreme side, or it will be the Beerus's on the super side. If you manage to get a decent selection of Bardoks, you can also use those as well. Generally, the Bardoks seem to link a bit better than the Gokus. So there we go, 85 million, a pretty decent starting point, and a good solid first attempt. Now we're going to take a look at the second stage. We're going to obviously want to do our second attempt using as many Beerus units as possible. That's going to allow us to kind of see whether, Beerus is better off, or whether the Goku and the Bardock combination is a bit better off. We do want to obviously keep in mind that it's not entirely just the support group that factors in. It's obviously our own support linker. It means how many rainbow units there are, how many linking partners there are, what their essays are. So there's a lot of factors to involve and kind of get to grips with. But the chain battle power will always kind of point you in the right direction. As long as those scores keep going up, we should know that we have a better chance. And if we take a look here, we do see that these scores have gone up overall on both sides. So we can assume that we should get a higher score this run. Doesn't always work out like that, because obviously if you had a slightly lower score by 1 or 2 links, but the entire team was rainbowed and your link was rainbowed and there was SA max, then obviously that's going to be a completely different story altogether. But as I said before, you're going to want to slow it down if you're struggling. Otherwise, you're then going to want to aim to pick the main units that you can as quickly as possible and as effectively as possible. We're going to aim to pick the 3 Beeruses here. Beerus is better overall than Broly's unless you have 3 legendary Super Saiyan Broly's, and even then Beerus is better off because generally the link set is identical between them. So now that we have managed to take on the second attempt here, we should see a higher score. We'll get around about 100 million, which is pretty good. Obviously that means we've completed the 100 million attempt challenge, which obviously gives us the highest rewards from a single run. Which is obviously really nice to get on the first day. It's nice to get it out of the way, and currently it's enough to net us in the top 5%. Now what we're going to do is we are going to take a look at a team that's run using a free-to-play Broly, or a Broly that you can farm from an event. And so yeah, we're definitely going to see what kind of score we can get there with choosing decent supports and a decent team. So we'll go for a Beerus Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta connection team. Also a very solid team, not a bad option here. And then we'll also go and pick up obviously another Broly team and see how they perform. And then just keep in mind that we are going to obviously have, we're going to use the Int Broly DBS movie free-to-play card. Just remember that the DBS Broly's are not the best Broly's to use. So this is a really gimped strategy for the chain battle. But if you are struggling and you don't have any other options, this is going to be the best you can do. So don't worry about it. But if you can, or if you have played for a while, you should have picked up at least 1 legendary Super Saiyan Broly. So you're just going to want to obviously use that and keep that in mind. So we'll just quickly switch everything up and get the team ready, and then we should be able to take on the stage, and we should be able to get a somewhat decent score. As you will see from the chain battle power, our scores aren't bad. I mean, they aren't the best, but they're not terrible. They're not as good as before, so that is a mitigating factor. So we should get a slightly higher score should you be able to find teams similar to what I've used before, and maybe have a slightly better linking partner. But obviously we have the units flying in. We will select the 3 best linking partners out of these units, and then we will be able to take on and see what kind of score we're going to get. So we went for Beeruses again. We got very lucky. We got 3 Beeruses in a row there. Very nice. And then now we can take on the stage, see what kind of score Broly's going to net us, and then we will wrap everything up. So there goes Broly. He's going to get us a solid 56 million, which isn't bad, especially considering there's still a little bit of improvement you could run there. You could definitely get better linking partners, especially for the Broly group. There was an android in the Broly group. You could get an all Beerus team, so it doesn't seem too bad. But that's going to be it from me, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and let me know in the comments how you're finding this chain battle. But until the next video, cheers and bye.